That's the plan. I hope we will be able to play some scrims versus some of those best teams where we cannot practice against usually. Hope we're gonna win a lot of games on stage because any stage practice is good practice, especially in League of Legends.
So today is the last day of the first week of the LEC summer season, and unfortunately, after a defeat at the ends of BDS, I am today in the presence of Romain, the manager of G2 Esports. And Romain, unfortunately, obviously not the results you probably expected out of this first week in the LEC, but I would like to ask, what are your overall feelings after these first three matches?
We're rusty, as it showed, right? We're rusty, and the competition is fierce, to say the least. We restarted summer pretty late. We only started screaming last Monday on the new patch. It's a pretty big new patch. We've had a complicated week with a lot of losses. I'm not too surprised. We are 1-2 at the end of the first week. Of course, we just have to dust it off. And the teams we played really calm, really well. So yeah, it's deserved. I'm not surprised. Makes sense. GG to them. We need a bit more time. For sure, they were better ready.
I mean, obviously, like MSI for you ended on May 17th, and now you started the split again on June 8th, which is a very short period for G2 Esports to adapt to everything, the new patch, the new meta, and just going back to the LEC as well. Um, what are your thoughts regarding this as well? And like, could you walk me through like how the period went between like the end of MSI to the start of summer? Do you think it's okay for you guys to like drop some games right now as well?
It's never okay to drop games in a way because you never know how the season is going to end, right? And we will for sure miss those wins at one point. I mean those losses. So at the end of MSI, we had a good MSI. I think not the best, not the one we wanted, but there was a decent showing. But we got eliminated on a Friday, and the MSI was on Sunday. So from a logistic perspective, it's like we went through a full MSI because we came back to Europe 48 hours earlier than if we had won everything. So we took a couple of day off. I think 5. So which was much needed because we didn't take any during MSI. Then we did a little workshop. We used one of our partners' facility, Red Bull. They have the Athlete Performance Center in Austria, which is an incredible place. So we went there. We did some work with doctors and stuff. And it was nice. And we did a couple of content days, and then we restarted practice, and there's a lot of work to be done. It's a full new patch. The teams we faced this week were better ready than us, with probably better read on meta. It showed on the weekend with the two losses we did. I think they were better ready. I don't think it's the end of the world. It is the best of one format, so you just need to make it to the next step, to the next stage. And I'm quite confident with 7 more days under our belt, it's going to be really fine. Even we restarted solo queue. I think we are the lowest teams in terms of LP in solo queue, but we play the biggest amount of games. We have our own systems to track that. So we're grinding. We're grinding. We need a bit more time, and then we're gonna be ready to dominate the summer.
I mean, in a way, I guess the fact that the group stage is now 4 weeks instead of three and is divided with like some smaller weeks is probably going to be helpful for you guys. But another point that is very important though is that directly after the end of week 4, you will be traveling to the EWC, which is another
Yep.
thing that is being added to the calendar. And obviously, we won't talk about the
Yep.
fact that the tournament is a bit controversial for some people, but I would like to ask on your side, how do you like see this tournament fitting in the calendar of G2? Do you think it's going to be complicated for you guys? Are you going to be taking it like seriously still, or I mean, pretty much how is G2 like looking for EWC?
We in League of Legends, the more you win, the more you work. So which makes this long year tournament beautiful, right? The team winning the World Cup at the end of the year is going to be the one able to grind this marathon through the entire duration of it. We've been working a lot because we've been winning a lot. So this means you have to play the full winter into the full spring, into you have to go to MSI almost until the end. So it's important to keep burnout in your head and to make sure the recovery is good. This week of recovery between the best of one and the best of three phase of summer would have been a banger, not gonna lie. But we're lucky because we've been invited to another tournament with a lot of really renowned teams. So it's going to be there's for sure a lot of positive to take from that. I'm looking forward to play more some Korean and some Chinese teams. I would have liked the day off as well to sleep. But to be fair, between best of one and best of three, this week is not really a week off, right? Like everyone's still going to try hard for the life. You have to get ready for the best of three format. And once again, the more you win, the more you play. The two teams, I don't know whom, but two teams in 3 weeks, they're gone, you know. In 3 weeks for 10 players, it's going to be the last game you play until January 2025. I've been in teams where you get eliminated in July or August, and it sucks. So we are privileged to be able to play that much, and we just have to be grateful and keep grinding, you know.
I mean, obviously, a thing that you've been very vocal about as well is scrim culture, especially, I guess, like in Europe, and also, I mean, going into like Worlds or MSI, for example. And I think there's definitely some differences between the both of them. But do you expect as well that like this EWC will be useful for you guys to maybe prepare for the rest of the calendar as well and for
I hope
Worlds? Yeah.
that's the plan. I hope we will be able to play some scrims versus some of those best teams where we cannot practice against usually. I hope we're going to win a lot of games on stage because any stage practice is good practice, especially in League of Legends where you don't usually see a big crowd. And it's really important for players to get stress test and to get this practice, right? So that's also something I'm looking for. Traveling together as a team is always a nice experience because life can get really repetitive when you spend all the time in a gaming house or in a facility like we do. It's fun, right? And we're spending a lot of time to make sure every minute is made conscious and is efficient. It's also always the same day on repeat again and again and again. So if you travel together, you confront yourself, you challenge yourself toward the real world with the real world, and yeah, you learn as a team. You create nice memories, which are a bit different than we're sitting together in the facility. So just for those points, yeah, I'm looking forward. It's gonna be we're gonna turn it into a really nice team adventure. We're gonna try hard, do hard, as a player would say, as we should. Same for scrims, same for everything. We have to give 100%. The way you practice is the way you're gonna play on stage, and no surprise, our week of practice was complicated. How we can on stage is complicated, you know. So far so good.
I mean, I think one thing that you bring to G2 Esports, which maybe other teams don't necessarily have, is that you are in a way a strong leading figure and a very outspoken person for the team that always tends to help rally the troops and give motivation to everyone. I would like to ask you as well, like in your opinion, what is like the role of a general manager, like the like you are pretty much filling for G2 Esports, and what do you think like maybe some other teams could be lacking as well?
We have 10 teams in Europe. The 10 GM are gonna handle their job differently. You have to define your own to-do list, right? And I believe my job is to create the best ecosystem around the guys, to recruit the right players and the right staff member, to make sure everyone knows exactly what the job will be, and then to protect this, to protect from external interferences and to protect them from themselves. I have to be the catalyst, you know. I'm not doing the job. They are doing the job, but I help them to make sure the job can go through properly. So you have to be. But my approach of it is I will dedicate my entire life to them, with them, next to them, so we all advance through this adventure together. I want to be I want to be a mix of Gandalf and Dumbledore, right? I'm here to make sure the main character is going to win at the end. I might die in the process. I will bring as much knowledge as possible. It's going to be a fun adventure, a fun journey. But yeah, so, and I have to protect it from the rest of the world. And they don't know what's happening in the rest of the world, which is fine. Yeah, that's my job.
MakeX is the support in game, and you are the support out of game, basically.
Yeah, literally. So I have to voice their concerns and I have to fight some of their battle for them, so they can dedicate all their time and brain power on fighting the in-game battle. either staff or players. So yeah.
We do have to close out, unfortunately, but I would like to ask you as well if you have any last words for G2 fans as well that have been supporting you, especially, I guess, after MSI when people like Hans came through a lot of criticism, and there's some people that like supported you guys and helped you go through all of this. So do you have anything to say to them?
Thank you. It's always the same, right? There's a loud minority which can be extremely annoying, the toxic one. Every time that happens, of course, there is a main majority which is really vocal as well, but on DM, online and stuff. So thank you for your support. Thank you for the love. We made you a bit proud at MSI. You're probably feeling a bit ashamed today after the 1-2 weekend. Sorry about it. We've been through that. It's just the beginning. It's best of one phase. We are rusty. That's all I can share right now. We're rusty. No worries. 7 more days. we need to scale. We need to get back into all the processes and schedule and serve. So it's fine. Everything's under control for now.
Perfect. Well, great to hear from you in any case, Romain. I hope that you have a great continuation to the rest of the LEC Summer Split, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you again very soon, and maybe for Worlds as well.